He built joy for his children, and the system tried to destroy it. Before we begin, if you believe that one person's dream can stand against an entire system, hit that subscribe button right now. This story will move you, anger you, and open your eyes. It began on a warm Saturday morning in Maplewood Heights, a quiet suburban community that looked perfect from the outside. Perfect lawns, perfect fences, perfect smiles. But underneath that perfection lived fear, control, and prejudice. Jerome Williams, a 38-year-old father of two, wasn't the type to make noise. A mechanical engineer by trade, he'd spent years saving for his family's first home. When they finally moved into Maplewood Heights, it was supposed to be a dream come true. His daughter, Ava, age 6, loved to draw rainbows on the sidewalk. His son, Malik, age 8, loved to play soccer, but the nearest park was a 30-minute drive away. So, Jerome decided to build something with his own two hands. A small wooden playground in their backyard. The sound of his hammer rang out every morning. Neighbors waved at first, until one man stopped waving. That man was Charles Denton, head of the Homeowners Association, the HOA. On the fourth day of construction, Jerome was sanding down the slide when a sharp voice interrupted him. "Excuse me, sir, are you authorized to build that?" Jerome turned around. Charles stood behind the fence, wearing khakis, a pressed shirt, and a clipboard, the universal symbol of someone ready to ruin your peace. "It's for my kids," Jerome said, smiling. "Just a small play area. I built everything safely. I'm an engineer." Charles didn't smile back. "That's not up to community standards. You'll have to remove it." "Remove it? I followed all safety rules. What's unsafe about a swing set?" Charles scanned the backyard, his eyes landing on the small American flag hanging near the fence. "You'd be surprised what violates HOA policy," he said flatly, and walked away. That night, Jerome's wife, Tanya, found an envelope taped to their front door. It read, "Violation notice, unauthorized structure." But Jerome wasn't about to give up. Not this time. The next morning, Tanya noticed curtains shifting in nearby houses. Conversations stopped when she walked past. The Williams family, one of only 2 black families in Maplewood Heights, had suddenly become the topic of every whisper. "They're changing the neighborhood. You see that playground? It looks like a public park now. Property values will drop." Within days, anonymous complaints flooded the HOA inbox. Noise disturbances, unauthorized construction, unsafe structure. The irony. Jerome hadn't even finished painting the slide. And still, he smiled, until a letter arrived marked final notice. If the playground wasn't torn down within 7 days, the HOA would fine him $500 a day. Jerome looked at the paper in disbelief. "They're calling it dangerous." "It's a swing, Tanya. A swing." Tanya's eyes filled with tears. "They don't see a swing. They see us." If this story is hitting home, if you've ever seen someone fight back against unfair power, stop for a second and subscribe. Because stories like this deserve to be heard. Jerome decided to attend the next HOA board meeting. The hall was full of folding chairs and fake smiles. He stood in front of a room of homeowners, most of whom refused to meet his eyes. "Ladies and gentlemen," he began, "I built something beautiful for my children. Something safe. Something that gives them joy." He paused. "And I'm here to ask, what's dangerous about that?" Charles adjusted his tie. "The issue isn't safety, Mr. Williams. It's compliance. You didn't request permission. Permission to love my kids." Jerome shot back. A murmur ran through the crowd. One woman, Mrs. Rowley, an elderly neighbor, raised her hand. "He's right. It's his property." Charles ignored her. "We have rules for a reason. Rules keep us safe." "Or keep some of us controlled," Jerome said. The meeting ended in silence. But that night, a message arrived in Jerome's mailbox. A photo of the playground, with red spray paint across it. Danger. The next morning, Jerome's family woke to flashing lights outside. Police cruisers. Someone had called 911, reporting a suspicious structure and potential hazard to neighborhood safety. Jerome walked outside calmly, his hands raised, as 2 officers approached. "Sir, we got a report about unsafe construction on this property." "It's a swing," Jerome said. For my kids. Ava peeked out from the window, her small face pressed against the glass. Daddy. One of the officers turned to her. Everything's okay, sweetheart, Jerome said softly, his voice shaking. The officers inspected the playground, took notes, and left. But by the end of the day, photos of Jerome's backyard were circulating on the community's Facebook page. Unlicensed builder violates safety laws. HOA intervenes to protect children. Jerome's company saw it. His boss called him in. Jerome, this looks bad for the firm. We'll have to suspend you until the situation clears. And just like that, the man who built a playground for Joy lost his job. A week later, Jerome stood in the backyard under a grey sky. The swing swayed gently in the breeze. He'd received one more letter. Final warning. Demolition scheduled. He dropped to his knees, the soil pressing into his jeans. They took everything, Tanya. My job. My peace. What more do they want? They want you silent, she said. But that's not who you are. So Jerome picked up his phone. He recorded a short video. To anyone who believes your voice doesn't matter, remember this. They can take your job, your money, your comfort, but not your truth. He posted it online. Within 24 hours, it went viral. The story hit local news. Then national media. Neighbors who had stayed silent began speaking out. Even the HOA's lawyer resigned. Jerome stood on his porch, watching the same officers return, this time to escort Charles away for harassment charges and misuse of community funds. The same swing set that once caused chaos now stood as a monument of defiance. But just as Jerome smiled, Tanya's phone buzzed. A message from an unknown number. You think this is over? It's just beginning. Jerome looked up. Across the street, a black SUV idled, its tinted windows glinting under the sunset. He took a deep breath. The war for peace had only just begun. You believe no one should be punished for doing what's right? Then like, comment, share, and subscribe to Wealth and Wounds. Because stories like this are still happening.